Hello, I'm Jody Gallagher, and I'd like to personally welcome you to our facilities in South Carolina. Since 1984, AFL has been a leader in new product innovation. AFL provides industry-leading products and services to the electric utility, communications, OEM, enterprise, and wireless industries. Our diverse product portfolio includes fiber optic cable, transmission and substation accessories, outside plant equipment, connectors, fusion splicers, test equipment, and training. We now serve customers in over 100 countries across the world. AFL is committed to the protection of the environment and the conservation of natural resources. Our environmental management system is certified to the ISO 14001 standard. All of our associates are committed to an injury-free workplace. On behalf of all of our associates, welcome to the AFL team. We're glad you're here.
Safety has always been an important element of our lives, at home, at play, and where we work. That's why at AFL, we are committed to providing you with the safest workplace possible. We want to develop and maintain a work environment where there are no work-related injuries, no work-related illnesses, and no harmful effects to the environment. It is the responsibility of the company, management, and each associate to achieve this incident-free workplace. That's why our environmental health and safety policy was designed to stimulate everyone's awareness of what AFL believes and hopes to accomplish. According to this policy, AFL will operate worldwide in a safe, responsible manner which respects the environment and the health of our employees, our customers, and the communities where we operate. We do not compromise environmental, health, or safety values for profit or production. We will comply with all laws and regulations. In order to maintain an incident-free work environment, we use a combination of AFL's Health and Safety Management System and the ISO 14001 Environmental Management System. You can see our goal of an incident-free workplace located at the center of our model. The 4 elements in the yellow inside ring are specific environmental health and safety programs we use to control hazards from a technical point of view. And the 5 elements in the blue outside ring are called enablers. These are attitudes and activities that enable the inner elements of the model to function efficiently and effectively. Let's begin here. Our enablers include organization, training, communication, measurement, and your commitment to working safely and protecting the environment. That means, as an associate, you are not only responsible for your own safety, but also for the safety of your coworkers, as well as the environmental impact of our processes and products. AFL strives to reduce its overall cost of operation and its impact on the environment through conservation of energy and water usage. All AFL associates are expected to turn off sources of energy whenever possible, such as lights, equipment, and computers, and report unnecessary uses of energy and water leaks. Teams brainstorm and use other problem-solving tools to find solutions for any environmental health and safety problems that may exist. The spirit of teamwork and commitment is what makes the environmental health and safety management system so effective. For everyone to work effectively, everyone must be trained. We provide environmental health and safety training whenever a new associate is hired. A current associate is transferred from one job to another. A contractor will be working within our facility, or when refresher training is due on specific programs. Besides today's orientation, you will be given additional specific health and safety training for your job. Ask your supervisor or the EHS manager for instructions on how to access EHS training online and how to get your personal EHS training report. You will also participate in regularly scheduled safety meetings, have access to company and government environmental health and safety publications, and be kept up to date on safety news, information, and statistics on your department bulletin board. Remember, keeping current on environmental health and safety-related matters is part of your job. In order to provide you with up-to-date information, We approach and measure our environmental health and safety issues in two ways: reactive and proactive. In the reactive approach, we gather and thoroughly analyze all information about incidents that have occurred in the past. Specific recommendations and changes are then implemented to ensure that a similar incident will not be repeated. The proactive approach, on the other hand, uses inspection and survey results, internal audit results, reports of hazards, and the results of environmental health and safety observations to put policies in place to prevent incidents from occurring. We also keep a variety of records, such as health, training, various measurements within and outside the plant, the purchase and procurement of all hazardous materials, specific hazards on equipment, spill prevention plans, pollution prevention plans, waste disposal records, air emission records, water discharge records, and much more. Organization, training, communication, measurement, and your commitment to work safely form the basis of our environmental health and safety management system. Before we look in depth at the technical aspects of this system, let's begin with an overview of some health and safety basics that apply to all AFL associates. AFL is a tobacco-free facility. Use of tobacco is allowed outside the plant in designated areas only. Please use the ashtrays to dispose of your smoking products. Do not throw tobacco products on the ground anywhere on company property. Never bring weapons into the plant, and never bring alcohol or drugs into the facility or enter it under their influence. An employee assistance program is available for all AFL associates. Information on this program may be obtained from the Environmental Health and Safety Department. Long hair can be beautiful, but not when it's wrapped in a machine. If your hair hangs down below your shoulders, you must tie it neatly behind or on top of your head before entering the manufacturing area. For your safety, it is our policy that jewelry, with the exception of a wristwatch, may not be worn in the plant. This is strictly enforced. Metal neck chains can be deadly if caught in machinery. Prior to entering the plant, you must remove all jewelry, including chains that cannot be safely tucked and confined inside your shirt. Bracelets, rings, and dangling earrings greater than 1 inch are prohibited. We suggest that you either leave your jewelry at home or put it in your pocket for safekeeping. Also, if you are wearing a tie or loose scarf while visiting the manufacturing area, it must be tucked into your shirt. Please, never wear baggy or loose clothing around machinery. Because your eyes are important to you and to us, everyone must wear safety glasses with side shields in all areas of the plant. Non-prescription safety glasses can be obtained from your supervisor, EHS Star Leader, or the receptionist. As a new hire, you will receive an approval form for prescription safety glasses. You will know your glasses are safety glasses by the Z87.1 markings on the arm of the glasses. Only glasses and side shields with this marking are allowed in the AFL Spartanburg operation. Similarly, your hearing is just as important. That's why we require all associates and visitors to wear the proper hearing protection where signs are posted in the manufacturing area. Your supervisor or EHS Star Leader will provide this protection for you. Depending on your job, you may be required to wear steel-toed safety shoes. In the manufacture of AFL's fiber optic cable and accessories, there are a number of heavy objects such as reels, mobile equipment, heavy accessories, and machine parts that could crush your toes or feet. So if your job requires you to wear safety shoes, please wear them. All associates will receive a form to obtain safety shoes at a local vendor. Shoe trucks come to our facilities once a month. If your position requires safety shoes, you will be allowed to get 1 new pair of shoes per year. In areas where safety shoes are not required, associates must wear a substantial shoe that covers the entire foot and has a non-slip sole. No open-toed or open-heel shoes, such as sandals, clogs, or flip-flops, are allowed anywhere other than office areas. You will notice lift trucks and other mobile equipment within our facility. It is your responsibility to be alert and observant of these vehicles as you walk through the plant. Be especially careful at intersections and blind corners, checking the mirrors provided to see if any mobile equipment is approaching. While all operators are thoroughly trained and licensed, they may not always see pedestrians walking outside the walkways. You, as a pedestrian, must take responsibility for your safety when they are nearby. While there may be times when things get hectic in your work area, never run in the plant. To reduce the potential for falls, always use handrails and clean up any spills, debris, tripping hazards, such as electrical cords and brooms, and any other slip or trip hazards where people must walk. Once you have completed a job, put away all of your tools and practice good housekeeping by keeping floors and work areas clean and uncluttered. It is your responsibility to keep your work area clean. Please throw scrap and trash in the proper waste containers and put only recyclable materials in the containers marked for that purpose. Throughout the plant, you will notice a variety of warning signs. It is essential that you obey the instructions on all environmental health and safety signs because some hazards may be more obvious than others. If you must pick up a heavy object while working, remember to always lift with your legs, not your back. Use material handling equipment for all lifting and moving of materials that weigh more than 50 pounds for men or more than 30 pounds for women. Back injuries can also occur by twisting, pushing, and pulling if done incorrectly. In general, pushing is usually safer than pulling. Another ergonomic issue to be aware of is called CTDs, or cumulative trauma disorder. This occurs when certain parts of the body are overused or are used in an unnatural position. A repetitive motion can cause CTD over time and thus serious injury. If you feel a job or task involves repetitive motion, contact your supervisor or EHS star leader immediately. Any use of knives or razor blades without being secured and protected by a blade handle designed for that particular purpose is strictly prohibited. Blades must be closed when not in use, and a cut-resistant or leather glove must be worn on your free hand when using any cutting or puncture device or tool. Prior to each use, remember to inspect every electrical power tool, extension cord, fan, or other equipment that has a flexible power cord attached. Never plug or unplug cords or equipment with wet hands or while standing in water. Report all electrical malfunctions or concerns to the attention of the maintenance department immediately. Do not attempt to fix the problem yourself. You will find evacuation routes and procedures for any emergency, including large fires and chemical spills, posted on all bulletin boards. Please take a few minutes to review this information in relation to where you will be working. In an emergency, use the nearest exit and report to your designated meeting area outside. Please drive at a safe speed in the parking lot and park only in marked spaces. And don't forget to use your seatbelt at all times when traveling on company business, whether you're driving or riding in company vehicles or in your own car. While our environmental health and safety policy and management system are powerful tools, remember that they are just that, tools. It's people like you who make this system work. You can do that by earnestly and faithfully practicing all environmental health and safety rules, helping other associates to work safely, promptly reporting any unsafe conditions or hazards, and enthusiastically participating in all environmental health and safety activities and assignments. This is the only way we can achieve and maintain an incident-free workplace for all. Now, Let's take a closer look at some of the specific technical aspects of the environmental health and safety management system that apply directly to your safety in the manufacturing area. The 4 major technical aspects are hazard control, health and safety; hazard control, environmental; work practice controls; and incident management. Let's begin with hazard controls for safety hazards. A safety hazard is any situation that has the potential, given the right actions, conditions, and lack of effective hazard controls, to cause immediate injury. For example, certain power transmissions and rotating parts on our equipment can lead to bodily injury. Before starting any machine, make sure that all machine guards are in place and that you are wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, which we commonly refer to as PPE. Never operate any machinery or tools unless you have been authorized and trained by AFL to do so. And never stack reels more than 3 high. As you work around machinery, stay away from pinch points. Pinch points are areas on a machine where machine parts open or close, or where gears or belts meet. Stay alert and keep guards in place. If a guard must be removed, be sure all energy sources to the machine are turned off and the equipment is properly locked out. If you discover a machine hazard that is not properly guarded, report this to your supervisor or EHS Star leader, the Environmental Health and Safety Department, and file a Hazard Hound report. A Hazard Hound submission form is available at the top of any page on the EHS website. Also keep in mind that under certain circumstances, grinding wheels can explode. For this reason, always inspect and properly guard grinding wheels before use. Never use any other metal on an aluminum grinding process, and always wear the proper personal protective equipment. From time to time throughout the plant, you will see lockout tags and devices. These devices and tags mean that an authorized person is following standard machine procedures. Only authorized personnel can apply or remove lockout devices and tags. Never tamper with or remove these devices. A severe injury or death could occur. Be aware that white personal danger tags and locks are placed on equipment to provide personal protection. Yellow tags and general purpose locks are to prevent damage to the machinery only. If your machine needs maintenance or repair, call maintenance. Never attempt any repairs yourself unless you have been trained and are authorized to do so. The same is true for electrical repairs. Associates must call a qualified maintenance person whenever electrical repairs are needed. Remember these basics when dealing with electrical issues. Notify your supervisor or EHS Star leader of any unsafe electrical situation. Make sure all portable tools have a ground fault interrupter attached to them. Check all cords for frays, tears, or wear before use. Keep all breaker panels closed and cleared for easy access. Keep all work at least 10 feet away from overhead electrical transmission lines. And allow only authorized and qualified persons to work on energized equipment. Always use the right tool for the job. If the right tool is not available, ask your supervisor or process engineer to get you the tool that you need. Do not make do by using a tool that wasn't designed for the task for which it is needed. This could result in an injury. Follow these safety rules when climbing onto ladders, steps, or elevated surfaces. If the area you need to access is 4 feet or more above the floor, over open tanks, or over potentially hazardous moving parts of machinery, be sure that standard guardrails are present to protect you. Fall arrest equipment is required if guards cannot be installed, and if work is done at a height greater than 4 feet. Do not climb on top of anything that is not designed for climbing onto safely. Please contact maintenance if use of a ladder is required. Only maintenance employees are authorized to use ladders. Same level falls are usually caused by poor housekeeping, so be sure to keep your floors and walkways clear of materials, spills, and clutter. Should any foreign matter ever get in your eyes, use the nearest eye wash station to flush out your eyes for at least 15 minutes and notify your supervisor. Generally, it is a good idea to seek prompt medical attention for any suspected eye injury. Be sure to remove contact lenses before eye washing. Be aware of the special hazards in the areas of the plant where welders are working. The bright light produced by the welding arc can damage your eyes if you look at the arc without special protective equipment. Always avoid looking at the arc whenever a welder is working. Only trained, authorized associates are allowed to weld at AFL Spartanburg. Another source of dangerous light comes from lasers. Although we use mostly low-powered lasers in our cable manufacturing facilities, the light emitted from these devices can damage your eyes as well. If you work around a laser, never look directly into the beam of light or view it through a viewing instrument or off a mirror-like reflective surface. In areas where Class 4 lasers are used, special warning lights and signs will let you know when the lasers are in use and are UV guarded. Only authorized and trained associates may enter these areas at that time. Never use compressed air for any reason other than its intended use. Please report and take out of use any compressed air hoses that are not equipped with OSHA-approved pressure reduction nozzles. Take the time to prepare yourself for a fire emergency. Get familiar with where all fire extinguishers are located in your area and learn how to use them. You will find fire extinguishers throughout the plant on columns identified by a red stripe or on the wall with a red arrow pointing down. When using an extinguisher, keep these tips in mind. Make sure it is the right type of extinguisher for the fire. Most all extinguishers at our plants are ABC and are good for all common types of fires. Make sure it is in good working order and is fully charged. Pull the ring out, breaking the seal. Aim the nozzle at the base of the flame. Squeeze the handle to disperse the extinguishing power. Use a back and forth sweeping motion. You will only have about 10 seconds before the extinguisher is emptied. If you are not able to get the fire out, or if the fire is too large, stop and leave the area and call 911. Never attempt to fight a large or spreading fire. If a fire of any type should occur in your area, report it to your supervisor. For fires too big to extinguish with fire extinguishers, call 911. Then call the primary emergency coordinator. A list of primary emergency contacts is located at each phone in the manufacturing area and in the emergency procedures book at the Right to Know Center. This list is prioritized as to the person you should contact, starting at the top of the list. For all serious medical emergencies, call 911, then your supervisor, then the Environmental Health and Safety Manager. For chemical spills over 10 gallons, use pig socks, which can be found in the emergency response cabinets, to contain the spill. Then call the Environmental Health and Safety Manager. While these many safety rules may seem a bit overwhelming, just remember, they are really only common sense, designed to keep you safe. If you have any question, ask your supervisor or the EHS manager. Now, let's continue with hazard controls for health hazards. A health hazard is something that can make you sick or can damage a part of your body. For example, exposure to loud noise over a period of time will damage your hearing. Working in certain areas of the plant will require you to wear hearing protection. Be assured, we do have an aggressive noise monitoring program within the plant, and AFL's noise level requirements are stricter than those ordered by the federal government. All associates working in excessively noisy areas are automatically placed in our hearing conservation program, where your hearing is checked annually. It can get very hot in the manufacturing areas of our plants, so you need to be careful to avoid heat stress and exhaustion. You can control this situation by getting plenty of rest during your hours off, wearing light clothing, keeping a fan nearby, taking breaks in air-conditioned sections of the plant, such as the canteen, and drinking plenty of water. Drinking fluids are always available to you during the hot seasons. and you are allowed to have drinks in production areas. The top must be kept covered in production areas where chemicals are in use. It is true that there are potential health hazards from the chemicals used during some of our manufacturing processes. You can be assured, however, that our exposure levels are monitored and are generally well below the permissible limits. For example, to ensure that the air you breathe within the plant is safe, plant air is periodically monitored for harmful particles, vapors, and gases. We do not normally require the use of any respiratory protection devices such as dust masks. However, should their use be necessary, you will be advised of the need and be medically trained to wear one. We begin our control of hazardous materials when we order the chemicals we need. Each chemical ordered has a corresponding Material Safety Data Sheet, or MSDS, which details the hazards of the chemical, how it is to be handled, and other information concerning its safe use and disposal. MSDSs can be found on the plant intranet or at the Right to Know Center. Access to the plant intranet and MSDS database is available at any networked computer. Your supervisor or EHS STAR leader will show you this area during your safety orientation. When we receive a chemical, we catalog it into a master list called a Hazardous Materials Inventory. We then check to make sure it is labeled properly and sealed before we send it to the department where it will be used. Once that department receives it, it is safely stored until needed. Now, let's take a look at some of the specific hazardous materials that are used during our manufacturing processes. Solvents are used in the cable manufacturing area, the maintenance shop, and on the printers in both the cable manufacturing and fiber coloring processes. Avoid inhaling or touching these solvents. Use appropriate personal protection equipment and the procedures developed for their safe use. Refer to the Job Safety Analysis, or JSA, or Safe Work Instruction for each particular job. Because solvents are flammable, never use solvents around an open flame, weld, grind, or electrical spark. When transferring flammable liquids from one container to another, make sure they are bonded together, and keep all containers and equipment grounded to avoid an accidental spark. Sensitizers. We use UV acrylate-based inks in our fiber coloring processes. This ink is classified as a sensitizer, which means that direct contact with this ink will cause most all people to have an allergic reaction. This reaction is usually in the form of dermatitis, which is an itching and redness of the skin. If this occurs, read the JSA and use the safe work practices learned in the additional training you will receive on this issue. Always wear the chemical gloves and lab coats that are provided when handling the UV inks. Wipe up all spills and keep your machine and work area free of any residue from this ink to prevent any incidental contact. Always wash your hands after using the UV inks and dispose of contaminated gloves and lab coats immediately. Oil mists may be found in the accessories manufacturing area and in all the maintenance machine shops. While exposures are under permissible limits, avoid inhaling or skin contact by using appropriate personal protective equipment and engineering controls and ventilation. Corrosives are present at our facility in forklift batteries and water treatment chemicals. If you work around these items, use appropriate caution and personal protective equipment to avoid skin contact. These chemicals will cause your skin to chap and peel. Should you get a corrosive material in your eyes or on your skin, flush the exposed area for a minimum of 15 minutes at one of the nearby eye wash stations and notify your supervisor or EHS STAR leader. Lead is contained in some of the color concentrates we use. While it is not possible that you will inhale or absorb any lead through your skin in any of our processes, be sure to wash your hands before you smoke, eat, drink, or apply cosmetics. Always wash your hands before breaks and meal times to avoid ingesting any amount of lead. Environmental hazard controls are another important aspect of AFL's environmental health and safety management system. In order to ensure that we comply with all local and national environmental regulations and to minimize our operations' impact on the environment, every AFL associate must constantly strive to do their part in keeping our environment safe. Always work in a manner that generates a minimum amount of waste and dispose of all processed wastes properly according to established procedures. Never pour any chemical on the ground or down a drain unless you have authorization to do so. Maintain good housekeeping at all waste accumulation points. This means no rags or debris piled on or around drums, using only drums that are in good condition, keeping drums properly labeled and the labels readable, and keeping all incidental spills on drums cleaned up. Use the blue recycle containers for aluminum cans and all paper products other than food wrappers or containers. Never throw aerosol cans in trash containers. Take them to the maintenance shop when empty. Here they will be punctured and drained. The liquid from the aerosol cans will be disposed of as a hazardous waste, and the can will be recycled in accordance with state regulations. Please submit your ideas and suggestions on how to minimize or eliminate waste. Report all environmental incidents such as spills or improper disposals. Let's move on to work practice controls. Before any associate begins a new job, we provide a written description of the environmental health and safety responsibilities that must be followed. This document is referred to as a job safety analysis or safe work instruction. Please use this document to help you learn your job's basic steps, as well as the hazards associated with it and how to avoid them. Your safety and the safety of those working with or near you are your responsibility. This is why we encourage associates to caution anyone seen working unsafely and to refrain from horseplay and practical jokes. Now, let's take a moment to look at what happens if an accident should occur. The specific steps we take to investigate and report an accident comprise our incident management component, which is the final piece of our health and safety management system. First, the accident must be reported immediately. Second, we then investigate and analyze the accident using AFL's online reporting system. Based on the information gathered, follow-up actions are assigned so that the incident will not happen again. Working in a technologically advanced manufacturing facility like AFL can be both a challenging and rewarding experience. And we want your experience here to be safe, healthy, and incident-free. Many of these health and safety basics rely on your common sense and adherence to the safety guidelines we have put in place. As we work together to produce the finest quality products and service for our customers, let us also work together to keep our facility incident-free and safe for everyone. Welcome to the AFL team.